Tap somebody and tell them, you're going to go through some stuff now. But listen. But you got to be wise to the point to where you are going to enjoy life no matter what you go through. Now, notice Proverbs, the 12th chapter in verse 25. Notice this. Proverbs 12 and 25. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression. Watch this. Anxiety or heaviness in the heart of man causes depression. Notice that it didn't say unsaved man. See, if you, even as a Christian, allow heaviness to get in your heart, it will cause depression. Do you see it? So if I know this, I have to fight or resist allowing heaviness to get in my heart or in my mind, because I know what it's going to do. If heaviness get in my heart, I'm going to end up depressed. I don't want to be depressed. Don't matter what you want to be. If you allow heaviness to get into your heart, you are going to be depressed. You can't argue with Bible. You can't go against what the word says. I'm tired of being depressed. Well, you got to get heaviness out of your heart. You got to get rid of something that really doesn't belong in your life in the first place. 3 definitions or 3 things I want you to know about what it means to be depressed. Number 1 is being down. Just being down. Down to the point to where you don't have the energy to do things that are needed. When you depressed, there'll be things right in your face that you know need to get done. You know how to do it. But because of your circumstances and situations have you down, you don't have the energy to get up and do what's needed. You know, some folk just sit around in filth. How you going to eat that good meal with all that filth around you? You ain't got to pick up all them clothes, and you ain't got to straighten up them dishes and all that before you eat. Nah, it'll be all right. You ain't going to make up your bed before you ain't going to clean up the room. No, I don't feel like it. You ain't going to take no bath today. What's the point? You smell. Stay off and around me then. I'm in my own world. Damn. They don't expect these folk to come and tell you they ain't bathed in 3 days. No, they not going to do that. But you'd be surprised what's happening with folk because they down. You'd be surprised the relationship folk get in because they down. When you down, you'll hook up with just about anybody. Yeah, you will. When a woman is down, she will just about give any man her number. Because just handing him that number picks her spirit up for at least 10 minutes. Even though she knows she had no business even giving it to her, she did it because she down. You should be surprised at things that young people will do because they are feeling down. It really ain't good to be down. Am I right about it? Number 2, understand this, it's deep sadness. It's when a person is in a state of deep sadness. And whenever you get to the point where you in deep sadness, if it leads a lot of people to get it on medication. That's the only way they can deal with that with that sadness in their life is that they got to stay high. Y'all gonna let me just teach you? They have to be on antidepressants to try to control their mood and their attitude. Because depression has just not just came in, but depression has just taken over. And if they ought to get anything done in life, they stay high on medicine. Listen to me. That's the only way they feel like they can cope. Now, some folk will turn to drugs. The only way to deal with this, they got to drink. Got to. Can't go a day without a cigarette. I just can't. I start shaking if I don't do this. And I can't concentrate and even read. It's like I ain't even learned to read if I ain't had no cigarette. But if I get a cigarette, I read it front and backwards to you. I know my ABCs and everything. But if I don't have that, I don't even know my ABCs. You know, some folk may laugh, but really when you think about it, it ain't funny. I mean, really think about it. Now, if you got somebody that's to the point to where they can't even do normal things because they so severely depressed. The third thing it deals with is being very discouraged. When you're depressed, you are very discouraged to the point to where you become pessimistic about life. You know, when folk get very discouraged, they talk death. It ain't no problem for them to put themselves down constantly. They don't like nothing about themselves. If they could have changed this, if they could have did, they are just very discouraged. And again, they become very pessimistic. Folk like this love to tell you stuff like, don't nobody care about me. You tell me, well, I care about you. No, you don't. They say stuff like, ain't no love in the church. Folk don't love people no more. Why you say we don't love you? Because we don't call you every day. You mean we got to call you and check on you every day and remind you about church? If we don't, you not going to come. And if we don't call, then we ain't loving right. Come on now. That ain't right. Tell 3 folk, just tell them that ain't right. 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 And you have to be careful, because when folk become very discouraged and you try to give them the word, sometimes that's the last thing they want. They want to stay in that place. They done built an apartment right there. They just finna chill right there. And don't you come talking about where you know the word say, hey, I know the Bible. I know what the word say. Well, you know, Pastor preached a couple of weeks ago that quitting is not an option. So you need to get up from here. Look, I know what Pastor preached. I was there and I got the CD. Yeah, but you got the CD, but you ain't living what the man of God preached. You have to get up from here. You have to know how to shake yourself, whether somebody call or not. You have to know how to encourage yourself when nobody is there to pat you on your back. You got to tell yourself to get up from here. You got to let yourself know there's yet some fight in me. This is a good word. Because just setting up, becoming discouraged and pessimistic, listen, ain't going to solve nothing. Talking about if you had this, you could do where you don't have it, so work with what you got. Talking about if you didn't have to deal with such and such in your past, that's been 10 years ago. You should have gotten over that by now, because with God, all things are. Preach it, Pastor. Your past is not an excuse to lay down and quit. Your past is not an excuse not to have a better present and a better future. If it be true, just shout, I've been through some things in my past. But shout, I didn't give up. Shout it like you're preaching to somebody. Just shout, I didn't give up. Woo! Woo! Shout it again. I didn't give up. Went through some stuff, but you didn't what? You didn't what? You didn't what? But depressed folk feel like they have no option. It's over. It's over. Well, have a good job, but all they do if you're around them is talk about the company. Study cashing their check, though, but that company there, man, that company, they ain't that. They need to do this, man, everything. And he have to say, how long you been there? 25 years. 25 years, and that much wrong. Now, you don't understand, man. My spouse this, my spouse that, my spouse. Constantly talking death. And y'all may disagree, but I don't like being around pessimistic folk. I mean, I talk to you and then try to encourage you, but if you just gonna sit on that bus and sit in the back, and no matter how many stops come and folk tell you this your stop, you got to get off. You know, I'm gonna sit in the back of the bus. Well, this your stop, better here, better coming. Come on. No, I'm fine where I'm at. Come on. How many have ever gotten into it with somebody because you was trying to encourage them, but they didn't want to be encouraged? And what started out being something where you were trying to help somebody, watch this, ended up being a fight. I've seen wives get into it with their husband because they trying to encourage him to do the right thing, but brother don't want to move. See, that woman have to learn to go on and be productive despite what bro man don't want to do. Don't sit there and fuss with him about something that he know he wrong about. Don't let him pull you into his misery. Come on, because some folks ain't happy until they done reeled you in to their misery. They'll throw a bait out there on you to try to see if you happy or unhappy. If they feel like you miserable like them, they start reeling. Yeah, me and you gonna be tired. Hey, call me tonight. Call me. You have to be careful who you hook up with. Right? Now, before I go further, how many like being around pessimistic folk? Because I may be, I don't like it. I don't like it. No, notice Psalm 69. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I'd rather eat by myself than eat with a pessimistic person. I'm telling you, I don't care how good that steak is, they're going to mess that steak up. How many know that right? How many have ever been out to eat with somebody and you were like, I wish I was at home by myself right now. I pick these ribs up and suck on the bones and have a good time, but I'm sitting here with Sister Sad. And she brought Brother Mean with her. And I'm ready to go. So you got to be careful when you do fellowships. It's some folk, if you don't see their name down, you got to be like, oh, okay. Don't go to them and say, I didn't see your name. I didn't see y'all name down there. You may or may not want their name on that list. Because they come, oh, Lord, I'm finna get in trouble. It's some married folk, when you see them coming, you already know, Lord, they look like they've been fighting. You already know the spirit that they bring it. It's some folk visit you. That reason it's good to have that little hole in your door. That hole in that door for a reason. When you peep through like that, oh, no. Not today. They steady ringing that doorbell. I know somebody in there because I hear the TV. And then you just watching them through that peephole. They already outside your door frustrated. And you just sitting there like. And if they real crazy, they go to windows and stuff. Be like, I know they hitting that. Hold on. And in yourself, you be like, not today. Not today. Not today. Not today. These type folk, they want to talk about everything sad that's happening. Did you hear what happened? Look at Psalm 69. Look at Psalm 69. I'm trying to teach you how to enjoy life. No matter what. Psalm 69:20. Reproach has broken my heart. I am full of heaviness. I looked for someone to take pity, but there was none. I looked for comforters, but I found none. See, sometimes when you go through heaviness, you feel all alone. But as a child of God, you have to know you're never all alone. You have to know God with you even when folk turn their back on you. You can't let who walk out cause you to treat folk bad who decided to stay. Good God Almighty. You can't let folk depress you who are no longer in your life. Yet when you think about what they did, it causes you to be sad. You have to learn to keep your mind off of that person and off of what they did and put your mind on what God is doing and on what God is about to do. You have to learn to shout about stuff that hadn't even happened yet and let the enemy know I'm going to praise God because it's my season. No matter what I'm going through, and trouble not gonna stop me. Come on, somebody. Look at Proverbs 4. Look at Proverbs 4. If you don't know how to talk to yourself, you're not gonna be able to fight the spirit of depression the way you need to. Did you hear me? I said you have to learn to talk to yourself. Don't just sit there and be sad. Talk to yourself. Sometimes you have to get in the mirror and tell yourself what you love about you. What ain't nobody else said. Get in the mirror and tell yourself, this is what I love about you. I love it how you do this. I love how you do it. You got it going on, boy. I don't care what they say. Yes, you do. Some of y'all look at me like I'm crazy. You have to talk to yourself. Don't you sit up and be sad because ain't nobody complimented you. Compliment yourself. If you cook something and nobody else say it's good, but you know you put your foot off in that thing, go ahead and eat that thing and say, man, this stuff is right there. I know I did this. Come on. Pastor, I'm too educated of a person to speak to myself and no one's around. But you ain't too educated to be sad. Huh? See, I'm teaching you. You have to talk to yourself sometime. Proverbs 4:23. Notice this. Again, you have to fight the spirit of depression. Watch how you fight it. Proverbs 4:23. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Tell your neighbor, you have to guard your heart. Tell somebody else, you have to guard your mind. Tell somebody, when you know you're going through something tough, you have to guard what you allow to enter into your heart. You know you already balanced. Guard your mind. When I'm balanced, it's certain talk I don't need to hear. I know the state that I'm in. I know what I'm fighting. And I don't need to invite unwanted enemies that will tell me I need to throw a pity party or I need to quit or it's no use in going on. No, you have to guard your heart. You have to guard what you allow to enter into your heart. You have to guard having certain conversation. When you're battling certain things and certain folk get to talking, you have to know how to excuse yourself. And sometimes if they going back and forth, you may not even get a chance to say, hey, look, y'all, I got to go. You just have to say, why? Because this ain't good for me. I'm guarding my what? I'm guarding my mind.
Thank you for watching A Word for Deliverance with Pastor Leonard Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. A Place of Refuge is located at 10 Fisher Alley in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. To order today's message on CD, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the order number on the screen.